Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's review for Tower of God. This week we got chapter 417 or season 2, episode 337. Might be going into season 3, might be going into another part of season 2. Doesn't really matter, it's all just up to what CU names it. There's no real difference at this point. Like story-wise, there's no real difference separating it. But either way, this is our last one before going on hiatus until probably late March, early April, before we English speakers start getting translated chapters out. So because of that, I'm going to be still doing videos every week over the hiatus. Don't know what day I'm going to put them on, whether it's Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, but I think I'm going to start off with maybe a Slayer discussion, then maybe into a Princess discussion or something. I don't know. I have a ton of suggestions I want to get to. And I'm also going to be rereading the series. Once I reread, I'm going to do a top characters video and a top arcs video. And even once we come back from hiatus, I still want to do videos like this. I also might try to do a few group discussion type videos on the channel. So yeah, let me know any more suggestions you might have for over the hiatus. But I've already read all your suggestions on the past videos, and we'll be totally doing most of them and taking them into account because I want to. So yeah, we're going to have all of that going on, and I figured I should bring it up at the beginning before getting into the actual review. So let's talk about the chapter and the actual review. I was already on the discussion on Nia D. Hemmings' channel, so I've talked about this a little bit there and also in the live reaction, obviously. But yeah, I thought the chapter, in particular, my favorite thing about it was it did a great job of showing where all these different characters are going during the hiatus or time skip, what they're going to be doing while we're away, essentially. So another thing, though, that I kind of am reminded of here, it's weird seeing Madarako already, because you would think if we're getting an arc, if something's going to go wrong with this deal, trading the ladle for the thorn fragment, then why are we seeing Madarako when we're going into a time skip that may last for years? If we're going to do that, or maybe we aren't. Maybe this is just a big troll and we're not going to have any sort of training time skip. So yeah, it's weird seeing Madarako already, because it feels like if we would have waited until after time skip for that, then it would have made sense to have an arc where things go wrong and there's some conflict. But since we're just showing up now, that makes it seem like, oh, Bomb's just going to get the thorn fragment over the time skip while he's training. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird timing. Also, we didn't get to see any White, any Andrasi to see what they're doing, though we can make some assumptions. And also no Yiwa and Danwa, who I think are in an interesting position where they're important enough that it's not like, just forget about them, they'll show back up eventually. They're more important than that, but they're also not so important that it's a big deal for them coming back after time skip rather than before. They're kind of just in this perfect area of importance where they really should have been back before the time skip, especially if they were meeting Bomb's group at the last station at the end of the Hell Train. The same thing goes for Jaja's group. We have no idea where she is, despite Ship mentioning her group at the beginning of this arc. So yeah, there's all that. But either way, let's get into the part where I'm going to break down the chapter scene by scene and give thoughts on it. So starting off, Karaka's telling Death Lady and Death Karambit to return to their original form. I'm thinking maybe that has something to do with the Shinsu aura we've seen around them. Maybe that's some new ability or technique or transformation or something that we haven't been properly introduced to. Or what some of the others were saying is a possibility is that he could be saying to return to his... It could be just an issue with translation, maybe return to where you came from, return to the ground they came out of at his heart. Maybe there's some kind of creatures that live there at his heart or something. So yeah, odd enough, might mean something, but I think it has something to do with the Shinsu aura around them. We have more kind of tsundere Karaka, where he's talking about he doesn't necessarily like Bomb, but at the same time he's kind of accepting him now, and he's protecting him now, so it's kind of weird, but we'll get a bit more into that later when it's more developed and important. Karaka pledges his revenge against Zahard and the army. That was all really cool. I actually really liked that. We see Evan's ship and Evankel reaching the station. Then Pobedal's castle shows up in front of Chonhi's ship. This guy, who's part of Pobedal's family, he looks hilarious. I love it. His design is all wonky and weird, and I love it. Some of it looks incredibly lame. Some of it looks really cool, like the spear. So yeah, I think it's hilarious, and I love it. Also, Chonhi's design, I really didn't like very much because she had this goofy blue armor the whole time, but her design here looks so much better. Chonhi looks so much better this chapter. Gustang then yoinks Rachel and Yura right out of there, and then has his crony drop this speech for him that was nice or whatever. It looks, in this one panel, as if there are 2 Fitbits. Where did the second come from? Why does the Minazuki have it? What is it to begin with? I don't know. I don't know why there are 2 Fitbits. Truth be told, we haven't really been totally keyed in on why the first Fitbit is actually really there. I mean, we have some info, but not like full info on what the consequences of it are. So yeah, there are 2 Fitbits somehow, apparently, maybe. Also, there are these badass giants, which I think are super cool. And this person that might be a Shua family person, because people have brought up in, I think, my comments that they look kind of like Shua Arthur, and I kind of agree, or they have sort of the same skin tone, hair color. So yeah, maybe that's a person from Shua Arthur's family, perhaps? From there we see Bomb sulking, a flashback to Elaine saying that Jinsung sent her to protect him, and she was climbing the tower. So that's interesting. I think she could continue climbing the tower, but I think she might stay behind with Bomb to climb with him. Or maybe Bomb's going to train while climbing, and she can stick with him there as well. So either way, I think Elaine will probably stay with Bomb to carry out Jinsung's wishes, since he was part of helping her. Then Evankel and Yuhan Sung come for Evankel to train Bomb, and it's going to take years, Evankel says, but I think that could be expedited. I think it could take a shorter amount of time, just for story's sake and because Bomb is a prodigy. So I think that it could take less than years, or maybe only a short amount of years, not many years. Then we have Xiaowu. Fuck Li Xiaowu or Xiaowu or whatever his name is. What a jerk. Like, we still have no explanation as to why he's such a jerk other than him being, like, scared. Like, the only reason for him to go from, let's protect all the regulars to, let's blow up all the regulars is that he was scared as the Hard's army. So, like, yeah, fuck Xiaowu. What an asshole. And he's even kind of mean to his kids. But we get the real Suyong backstory about her hurting her ankle, and Sowa kind of helping to hide her until they make it to the end of the train. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I get what Siu was trying to do here, and this is one thing we talked about as well in that group discussion, was I like these arc character stories. I loved Batis and Medley. I loved that story, except for the ending. The ending kind of was like, haha, they're not real, they're all dead, piss off. And that was kind of not the best. But other than that, I loved Batis and Medley's story. So I kind of like this kind of story, but I feel like it just wasn't handled very well. I think something that could have made it better is if Siu had written more of the regulars doing stuff on the station before all of the army and Rancor attack stuff. Because it didn't give us enough time to see how good things were before things went to shit for us to care about it going to shit at all. So, or care about these characters and their lives being changed like this. So I think that maybe that sort of change in organization could have helped the story a bit. We then see Wangnan running off to go to Horyang, being chaperoned by Miseng. Miseng, one of the best characters. I don't know, for some reason I'm on the Miseng hype train now. I mean, she's got the reflection powers, she's got the berserk mode. Miseng is just incredibly OP and really, really cool. Karaka then meets them, and personally, I know somebody said that he could be taking them to the heart, which would be cool. But I think, and he could be using that to transport them, but I think that since we're going to have Wangnan and Karaka together, possibly over a time skip, there's a chance Karaka could train Wangnan some, but even more than that, like much more than that, there's a very good chance that Karaka is going to tell Wangnan a lot of secrets and a lot of information, and that's what's going to be really cool, more so than the training. So there is that. So yeah, Karaka meets them. They're of course going to be going off to Horyang to get him back and all that, which is going to be good. I'll be happy to see Horyang and Kasano and Gosang back. Then we have Hockney and Rack explaining the Kunai Agnes situation to Ship's team, and Ship says, you know, Bomb's busy, I want to help. And to be honest, they need to hurry because it's been stated that Kunai Agnes can't stay that way forever. So they're probably going to do that while Bomb is training. Ryun kind of just comes to shit-talk Karaka, it would seem. She brings up Madarako and the ladle and all that. We learn about the ghost ship, cloaking warship, and that's why Ryun warped there, so she had a plan for the warping all along, which I thought was really cool. Calavan totally fucked this up. He actually didn't accomplish anything. Yeah. Except capturing Yuri, which he wasn't even really on the docket to begin with. So yeah, Calavan just bungled this entire mission. But there's probably not going to be any sort of repercussions for it. I don't even think there's going to be repercussions. But yeah, Calavan messed this up. I'm at least happy. You can see in my reaction, I was so worried that what they were going to do was have the ship go invisible, and then Calavan just drives right on by like, oh, where are they? Oh, I was so worried they were going to make Calavan look like the biggest idiot, like some Looney Tunes Scooby-Doo shit in here. I was so worried about that. But all worked out. Calavan still looks kind of like an idiot, but not as much of an idiot. He's not completely ruined or anything by that. We get Rack's speech, which I think is nice and all. It's whatever. And the basics that I got from the speech are that Prey thinks that strength is the key to survival. It needs to get stronger so it can survive. But what a hunter does is they challenge people stronger than them. And that might make them stronger than the people that might be stronger than them because of their sort of bravery to challenge them and not hiding or backing away. And Bomb is strong prey and a strong hunter, but he needs to be a hunter. So that was pretty good. At the end, Rachel gets 3 wishes, and my personal guesses on it, I feel like a lot of you are going to have a lot of guesses. My personal guesses, first of all, she made a big deal about hating her looks. She freaked out when she didn't look like Icarus anymore for some reason. But let me tell you, Rachel looks much better than Icarus. Icarus had the pointy ears, looked generic, hair wasn't that nice. No thank you. Rachel's hair, pretty okay. Freckles, cute. Rachel in the sweats, yes please. So Rachel actually looks a lot better than, Rachel's not top 5 obviously, but she's not terrible either. I mean, she's not worse looking than Icarus. But we learned that she has an incredibly strong and weird appearance complex, so she's probably going to wish to change her looks. And if she wished to change her looks to look like Icarus, though I would be disappointed, I think that would actually be really well developed. Second wish, I think power of some kind. The common thing to wish for whenever these characters, whether they're greedy or whatever in fiction, get 3 wishes, it's typical money, power / influence, kind of same thing. I'm saying power in terms of influence, and love, or get the girl or get the guy. So in this case, rather than get the girl or get the guy, she wants to get herself. She wants to look better. In terms of money isn't really what's important in the tower here. Power is, strength, the ability to do things, so I think she's going to wish for power and strength. And because she can't just be, maybe she can be trained, but because she can't just be made strong if she's weak, I think that Gustang, and because of his hookups with the workshop, he could give her a bunch of really cool and useful items to make her pretty OP. In addition, one thing, she could just be like, hey, let me keep the Stingray, let me keep the Minazuki. and that would make her OP as it is, and I think it works really well for her character, because her character is a cowardly character, someone who doesn't really fight themselves, and that's why the Stingray is kind of the perfect power-up, because it's something that she doesn't directly influence or control, but at the same, making her still kind of pathetic since she doesn't actually control it, but at the same time it protects her and is strong enough to allow her to kind of stand at these other characters' level for a little bit, which makes it even more infuriating for her as an antagonist, as a rival, to be so cowardly and so weak on her own, but to have something that keeps her at that level that's kind of unfair, which I think is a perfect power-up. But it might not be the Minazuki, it could be other items. Either way, second wish probably power, and the third, going by my love, money, power/influence, is the power/influence part. Rachel realizes that she can't do what she wants to do alone. She can't climb the tower alone. She's always been trying to surround herself with powerful allies. It's why she tried to work with FUG. I think she's going to say, let me work with you, let me be your ally, Gustang. And I think that with Rachel's kind of conniving and evil mind, she could actually end up kind of making Gustang like her. He's a very arrogant guy, calling her vermin and all that, but at the same time, I could see him taking a liking to her mind, so to speak. So, yeah, I could see her getting allegiance as her third wish with Gustang. So, yeah, allegiance is the third wish. I could see that happening. Then next we have the hiatus end note. Hopefully Siyu gets some well-needed rest and comes back better than ever. It's always sad to hear about how hard Naver works everyone with the deadlines and everything. But hopefully Siyu can get rest both physically and mentally. Nothing particularly important in the blog. It was mostly just talking about hiatus stuff. Nothing super important to discuss for the review. So yeah, thoughts as a whole, I loved it. I loved the parts where they were establishing where the characters were going. So some of my guesses, if we do have a time skip or whatever's going on, Bomb is going to be training and some of the team is going to stay with him, whether he's climbing while training or whether he stays in place while training. I think that Elaine has a good chance of staying with him. So Young, I think, could stay with him and climb the tower with Bomb. I really think that that could happen with Soo-young, because if not, what's the point of her character even? But Siyu could just leave her behind and say, what's the point of her character even? And in addition, a few of his teammates like Rak, I hope Rak stays and gets training from Evan Kell too, but also if he doesn't, there's a lot that Rak's character can do with helping Kunagro Agnes, so it's not like Rak is completely forgotten if he doesn't get training. Though I would much prefer that he gets actual training. So Rak could stay, Hackney could stay. Sure, he has reason to want to help Agro Agnes, but Hackney's allegiances are really more with Bomb on a personal friendship level. But I could also see him taking the responsibility to say, okay, I need to be one of the people to go help thaw out Kunagro Agnes. Warian could stay with Bomb. I think that's actually an obvious one. And Sachi, we didn't get to see what happened actually at all with, I'm just now remembering this, with Deathbird and Irure and Drac. Irure, Barrow, Sachi, Boro, any of them could stay with Bomb, any of them could go with Ship's team, who knows. Some of the group is going to go save Kunagro Agnes, particularly I think Ship's team's going to do that, and Hackney or Rak or Sachi and Boro, some of them could go with Ship's team. But I think that's going to be, Bomb's group is going to be focused on the training aspect, and Ship's team is going to be focused on the Kunagro Agnes saving aspect. Then we have Wangnan, who is leaving, and his team is going to be with Karaka. Whether Karaka trains any of them or not, who knows, but he's going to be going to get Horyang and Kasano and Gosang and climb back up with them. And maybe we could see some more other characters, older characters that we've seen before, join up with them, perhaps. Rachel is... Oh yeah, I already mentioned Jaja's team earlier in the review. I was going to say maybe I should mention them. Rachel's going to be with Gustang. She may or may not get training from Gustang. I think she's going to get items from him for sure, and I think she could ally herself with him and his forces. And then lastly, there's the Madarako coming stuff, which is confusing. Is that going to happen over Timeskip? Are we going to actually get to see it? So if we do have a Timeskip, that basically means we're not having any ghost ship arc, which is weird. I thought we'd have an entire arc over the conflict of getting the third Thorn, so it's kind of odd that it might be happening over break. But either way, like I said, I thought it was an incredible chapter. It did a great job of going into a hiatus or Timeskip with a relatively clear idea of what characters are doing while still leaving some surprises. So I would give it 9 hiatus times out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, videos will still be weekly over the hiatus, so if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more. Tower of God, much more on the channel. Yeah, I guess maybe check out some other stuff during the hiatus. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there instead of the channel, or I can talk to you there. Yeah, did I forget to say comment? Yeah, your thoughts on the chapter or thoughts on my thoughts. I just said follow on Twitter, and also if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us about Tower of God or anything else on Discord, then just ask and I can give you a link to the server, free and open for anyone. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.